In Christmas 1997, I was gifted a PS1 with the new DualShock controller and a demo disc, which had the first 3 levels of Medieval that gave you a 15-minute timer to complete. Which I did several times. Well, I could never beat the Hilltop Mausoleum in time, but I got close a couple of times. When I would later get the full game, it whooped my ass. I remember dying so many times in Fools of the Ancient Dead. The castle I found was pretty hard because I couldn't save the fucking farmers, and it was just... Game was hard for me back then. Not nowadays, though. No, I don't hardly die in this game anymore. It's pretty easy, all things considered, now. You play as Sir Daniel Fortescue, the legendary hero of Gallowmere. He led an army in 1286 against a sorcerer named Zarek, who raised an army of demons to conquer the realm, naturally. Dan destroyed him, despite being mortally wounded. This is a lie. Dan is a fraud, only given the title of captain because King Peregrine liked him, who covered for Dan in death. In actuality, he fell in the first charge. About 100 years later, Zarek reappears from exile, ready to conquer Gallowmere once again. After he hypnotizes the villagers and steals their souls, he plays a very unfortunate game of Wake the Dead.
Wake the Dead! Wake the Dead!
Zarek resurrects our boy Dan unwittingly, which is a terrible, terrible mistake. Dan is depicted as a hero seeking redemption, and he takes no shit from anyone, starting with these snarky gargoyles.
It has risen again, Sir Daniel Fortescue, see? The hero of Gallowmere who fell at the first charge. The fog of war and the shrouds of time conspire to turn the arrow fodder into the saviour of the day. But we knows better. Let it alone. Fate has given it a second chance. A chance to forget the ignoble truth. A chance to defeat Zarek and live up to the legend. We hopes it does well.
Medieval's levels are short for the most part, and shouldn't take you more than maybe 10, maybe 15 minutes per level. Unless it's the Ant Caves. Fuck the Ant Caves. The level structure follows you grabbing a colored rune or multiple and opening locked doors or using them to solve puzzles. Certain items need to be gathered from specific levels in order to advance in the game. You'll see after we get to the graveyard levels. You'll see. You gain health back mainly through these rejuvenation fountains or energy vials. The energy vials come and store life bottles if your health is full, which is really, really good towards the end game, which becomes a godsend. Medieval's controls are weird for 1998. How weird? Circle is jump, X is your basic attack button, and square charges your weapons. Triangle handles the shield. You can use the analog stick to move, a novelty even in 1998, but I move using the D-pad as I feel I have better control over Dan's very slippery movement. He slips and slides everywhere, and he comes to like this sudden like little dash stop after he stops. It's very weird and inconsistent. The daring dash is awesome, and it's required to beat the game. It just is. The platforming is not good enough to allow you to beat the game without it. While running, press triangle to get a dash of speed, and this dash of speed will enable you to jump over pits you previously couldn't, run through fields of corn you previously couldn't, and also push objects around and damage enemies. It's really good. Oh, and lest I forget to mention that L1 changes the target reticule, and R1 enables a backstep and sidestep which you'll never use. The camera though, the camera is awful. You'll be fighting it the entire time, and some parts of the next game even if it's improved. It's a shame, because when you aren't fighting the camera, Medieval may very well be one of the best stylized games on the PS1. It's aged so well like a fine wine. The Gothic architecture is suitably creepy while looking like that Tim Burton Disney movie Magic, sort of. It's got its own unique identity to it, and I think it plays so well into the world and land of Gallowmere. The music, as well, is great and has aged very, very well. Andrew Barnabas and Paul Arnold did great work. There isn't a single miss on the soundtrack as far as I'm concerned. While The Scarecrow Fields is my favorite track, there are others. Pumpkin Gorge is whimsy and fun. while the time device may very well encapsulate what I think is the second best level track in the game. I haven't played the remake in 2005, which we don't speak of, or the 2019 remake, mostly because I just don't have an interest in playing those games. I heard the 2019 remake's pretty good though. Resurrection could go fuck off and die in a fire though. I hate what it did to the franchise, turning it into a giant fucking joke that absolutely did not deserve to be turned into a giant joke. Listen, I know humor is integral to the identity of the Medieval franchise. I know it's going to be there forever and that's fine. But there's a point where you have to stop and think about what you're doing. Resurrection is a joke. It's literally one big giant comedy. It's not like Medieval 2, which was influenced by British comedy. No, Medieval Resurrection is literally one big giant joke, and that's why it doesn't exactly get the love it really doesn't deserve. The graveyard levels of Medieval are the game's most iconic levels, specifically the first one, aptly named the Graveyard. The Graveyard's the most iconic level in the game, but it's also a fairly standard level that teaches you how the game is going to be played. This angel statue though, this is actually very important for two reasons. It takes you to an area full of hidden health vials and gold, but more importantly, the Chalice of Souls, which I'll talk about after we complete the Return of the Graveyard level. Don't worry, you'll see. You also get introduced to this merchant gargoyle, which you use to restore ammo, enchant your broadsword, and repair your shield. Cemetery Hill is another easy level where we first meet Zarek in-game, voiced by the late Paul Dara, who I'm convinced is the only actor who can deliver Zarek's lines.
So, even from the shackles of death, my old enemy pursues me. You're too late, Fortescue. Already my army has risen from the grave. You will never leave this necropolis.
Go to this little hidden area over here to get your club and meet the ghouls, who deal extreme amounts of damage at this point in the game. Fortunately, the club makes short work of them. You need the club to get into this witch's crypt for the talisman and chalice. I always love how the gargoyles just explode when you get to the top of the hill and panic. Also, don't forget to go back to Dan's crypt for a life bottle hidden in the wall. The Hilltop Mausoleum isn't a bad level, but it has the imps. The imps are the worst. I hate the imps. They are my fucking curse in this game. One of them is called the Sticky Fingered variant, and what it does, well, Sticky Fingered variant should be self-explanation enough. Don't let it steal your magic sword or you're paying a hefty price to get it back. Thankfully, they only show up in 3 levels, but they are a pain in the ass when you mix them with other enemies in those later levels or give them a fucking barrier. Return to the Graveyard is also an easy level. Stick to this coffin at the beginning for hidden goodies. This is the game teaching you about secret areas. There really isn't much to talk about here, save for the boss, the Guardians of the Graveyard, who as you may expect are easy, despite everyone saying, no, they're really hard. I just use the hammer's charge mode and just leave the level. They go down fairly fast as well. Okay, maybe not. It's time we talked about the Hall of Heroes. In order to get here, you have to get to the chalice when it's 100% full within each level. Your rewards are usually weapons, but sometimes gold, life bottles, and in one case, energy vials, which again are a godsend late game. I really love each of these heroes and their voice lines. Like, some of them only get 2 voice lines. Raven Hooves gets like 4, but all of them are just great to listen to in general. I mean, the delivery is unmatched.
I think maybe you should take my shield, yeah? It is magic, Herr Fortescue. Some say it is better to have a magic sword than a magic shield, but I said to use it as is rubbish! Daniel, man, you can't go into battle against an army of undead without a magic sword. Here, take mine. You'll never have to sharpen another blade, or my name's not Dirk Steadfast. It's not enough just to have a magic shield, you know, no matter what that soft ticky stern card says.
Don't be shy, baby. I've seen you giving me the eye. You may be weak and feeble like old men, but I like you, Daniel. Oh, I love a man who doesn't talk back. I think if you return, I may take you for my husband. Think of me when you throw it.
I'm scaroused.
Most of the game's weapons are good, but I'm just going to go over some highlights. The crossbow, which is the first weapon you get, is serviceable until you get the spear, which becomes my go-to ranged weapon even after I get magic arrows for the longbow. The damage from the spear, I think, is unmatched in this game. The broadsword becomes your go-to weapon for the majority of the game, and you can enchant it and turn it into a Temu version of the magic sword until you get it proper, which is in fact the best weapon in the game. Warhammer becomes your go-to break boulders weapon in the game, but it also outclasses the broadsword in terms of damage, just barely. It's incredibly useful in the Atkins, which we'll get to in a second. The gold shield is the last weapon worth mentioning because, well, it's the best shield in the game. It's big, has 400 hit points, and you can recharge it constantly out of Merchant Gargoyle where you don't have to look for it on the map. The rest of the weapons are okay, I guess. The axe is a decent weapon up close, and throwing it is, well, just use a ranged weapon if you're going to throw it. Lightning bolts are the worst ranged weapon in the game, though. Yeah, they have power, but you don't get to recharge them, and there's only really one level I found any use for them in. Oh boy, time for the ant caves. You'd think with how much I hate this level I'd consider it the worst, but no, there's worse. In order to even enter, you need to use the witch's talisman, and then she just shrinks you down to size during their conversation.
Sorry, didn't I mention I'd have to shrink you to the size of an insect? Now hurry back.
I just love how Dan got smart with it right there. Once you're inside, you have to free this drunk-sounding fairy.
Oh, wait. Thank you for releasing me, sir. My people wish only to live our lives in blissful harmony with nature. But alas, the wicked Ant Queen has many of us imprisoned. Rescue my people, Mr. Fortescue, and you will be richly rewarded.
It's not a choice. You can't advance in a level until you do. Why do you sound drunk? The goal here is to get 7 pieces of amber and rescue 6 fairies. It seems simple enough, yeah? I loathe this level. It's not particularly hard or relentless death trap like the pools of the ancient dead. It's a confusing tunnel system. It's hard to navigate even with all these marks on the floor and the walls being painted, and it even has the creepiest music in the game. All you do is wander, kill an unlimited supply of soldier ants and worker ants. Thankfully, the boss is way easier than the level. The Ant Queen can only be hit when her belly is exposed. She, like most bosses, is a complete and utter pushover. As for your rewards, rescue all the fairies, you get a chalice. complete the witch's mission, you get chicken drumstick. They're okay, I guess. I don't ever use them in the game, and the only reason why I don't do that is because I think you're not going to get any chalice souls, but you do. You don't see them in this video. I'm sorry.
Liar!
So here, I went and actually got post-run footage showing you exactly what they do. And believe me, they don't do much. You turn enemies into chicken and you eat them for health. The Scarecrow Fields are my favorite level in the entire game, as well as having my favorite stage track. The Scarecrows are only a problem if you let them corner you. Just repeatedly swing your sword at them till they're dead. Same with these farmers. These mechs, I guess they're mechs, are easy enough to dispatch. Shoot the head with the crossbow, then shoot the annoying imp in the back. You can also free a dragon, though it's kind of useless, because by the time you would need the dragon, the level's pretty much over. The end of the level has a maze you go through for a harvester part, which you need for the chalice and a life bottle. Pumpkin Gorge is probably the whimsiest stage in the game, and I love it. It's a stage that uses a Halloween staple as enemies, pumpkins. They roll around, explode, and even attack you like zombies do in the first level. But why though? The Pumpkin Serpent, apparently manipulating them to attack anyone that enters the gorge. Only thing I really don't like about the Pumpkin Gorge is the Chalice Trip, and this is an issue in one other stage, I think. No wait, no it's not. The chalice is at the beginning of the level, so you have to go through the entire level, kill everything, and then come back for the chalice. So here's the Chalice Trip on the way back. Pumpkin Serpent is a pathetic boss. He goes down very easy, but first we have to summon the Pumpkin Witch so she can tell us what's happening with her children.
Greetings, kind sir. I am the Pumpkin Witch. I'm like a mother to those pumpkins. I give them all the love and care a young fruit could ever ask for. From the moment they first push a shoot above the soil, right up until their heads are cut off and eaten. And look, see how they repay me, running around and causing mischief.
Lady, you might very well be the reason why these pumpkins are rebelling against you. You grill them and then you cut their heads off just to be eaten? What are you, a cannibal?
That nasty old big pumpkin has a bad influence on the young seedlings. If you teach him a lesson in manners, I might give you a nice present.
So we break these pods, which brings the Pumpkin Serpent to life, and then we go and destroy him because the Pumpkin Serpent is the easiest boss in the game. We go back to our witch friend here who gives us a dragon gem. We're going to go get the other one here in a little bit, and we're going to need 2 of them in order to advance farther in the game. It's finally time for the game's 3rd hardest level. More for the fact that you can't hurt anyone until halfway through. Kill any of the villagers and you lose chalice percentage. After you get the bust, the guards appear, and they are hilarious.
Hurry, comrades, tear this place apart. If we don't find the shadow artifact, Lord Zarek will have us mocking out the demons for the next millennium.
Oh, you won't be mucking out any demons anytime soon, I guarantee you that. Also, why do you have a blunderbuss? Didn't those get invented in like the 1700s or something? They go down easy enough and aren't really a threat. They are hilarious though, like I said. The rest of this level, not so much. It's mostly just an errand run. The rest of the level is a fairly uncomplicated affair. You make a cross, go to a church, get a safe key for the safe in the mayor's house, and then you go to the mayor's house and you get the shadow artifact, which is required to advance in the game. You think a squad's gonna stop me? Yeah, sure, no. I don't think he's bringing you back something nice. The Asylum grounds are a puzzle level mostly. Jack of the Green is the real star here, also voiced by Paul Dara.
Greetings, Sir Fortescue. My name is Jack of the Green. I am the master of riddles, and this maze is my domain. You are free to leave, but only once you've answered 4 riddles. Puzzles so fiendishly difficult, so perplexingly complex, that no man has ever solved them. Ha ha ha.
Jack's puzzles aren't actually too hard. The hardest one is this elephant puzzle because you have to navigate a rat past a cat. And that's it. Also, the darkness puzzle is way easier than it sounds. I also love how mad he gets when we solve it.
You think you're so clever, don't you? Here you are, Sir Clever Clogs. I grant you free passage through my maze. Find your own way out.
To get out of this maze, you have to play this chess game, and the chess game is way harder than you probably could have ever imagined. See, you can't die, but it is hard because nobody's figured out in like 20 years how to properly do this without guesswork. So I'm going to show you how it's done. You basically have to stand on a square and then hit the piece. The piece will move itself. You just have to be standing on a square. You have to align the chess pieces with the colors before you can go. I make that sound a lot simpler than it is, but trust me, it's not. Inside the asylum is a completely different beast. You have to face zombies and psychos and ghouls. Ugh. These enemies can take multiple life bottles. They inflict 50 damage on you, so 6 hits at once, you're dead. Period. And the game swarms you with enemies to make sure this is possible. It is, by far, the most brutal level in the game and one of the hardest. Look at my current status in the fountain here at the end. This is just how brutal this level goes. We meet the mayor and free him.
By heck, am I glad to see you. That Zarek tried to force me to hand over the shadow artifact. He means to release the demons from their tomb under the enchanted forest. But I said to him, I said, "You can't touch me, you lanky windbag. I'm the mayor." Aye, that told him. But then he had me locked up in here with all these nutters. Oh, it's been terrible. I haven't managed to get a word of sense out of anyone in weeks. Right. Well, I'll see myself out, thanks. You have a good look around, lad. Zarek's left some stuff lying about that I think you might find useful.
The mayor seems like a nice guy. Grab that dragon gem and let's get the hell out of this place. And we're back. The enchanted forest is actually beatable now that we have the shadow artifact. So we go inside the tomb of the shadow demons, and in order to pass we have to solve a puzzle. Alright then, let's see what happens when we do. Oh shit.
What have you done? Once again, the shadow demons are wreaking havoc across the land, and it's all thanks to you. The single most destructive and wretched creatures in the history of the world, and you've given them an early parole. They will be heading for the ruins of King Peregrine's castle. Gallowmere is doomed.
Alright, my bad. For real though, shadow demons can get fucked. They are the most dangerous enemy in the game. They are tanky, take way more damage to kill than pretty much any other enemy in the game, and can inflict massive damage, more so than the zombies in the asylum. Magic weapons completely annihilate them though. Too bad I don't have any of those yet. This demonette boss fight though? It's fine. They're pretty easy, all things considered. Just throw a bunch of spears and arrows at them. They go down pretty easy and pretty quick. So the Ancient Dead is the worst level in the game. You thought the ant caves were bad? No. This level is worse. But first, meet Death himself, aka the Boatman.
Greetings, stranger. I am the boatman. It is I who ferry lost souls on their final journey to the land of the dead. But oh, have we not met before? Sir Daniel Fortescue. Not you too. Thanks to Zarog's meddlings, I'm up to me eye sockets and lost souls who've woken from the eternal sleep. Business hasn't been this brisk since before they invented sanitation. Look, if you help me to gather up a boatload of 8 lost souls and bring them here, I'll drop you off at the sunken town of Melamede. How's that sound?
Yeah, okay, just let me die a few times first. This level is the worst. You basically are maneuvering on very shallow patches of land trying to knock these armored enemies into the water for their souls. And at the end you get to face 3 of these things in that lower section. Oh, how exciting is that? Ooh, I'm so very excited for this level. Fuck this level. Straight to the lake instead, which is nowhere near as hard or brutal or interesting, honestly, but it has this awesome set piece here right in the middle. Easily the best part of the level. Crystal Caverns have shadow demons and rhinotaurs hanging out with my most hated enemy and arch nemesis in this game, the Imps. I guess the most interesting thing about the Crystal Caves is that there's this set piece here. You basically have to run and avoid these slides to get this rune. That's exciting. Oh yeah, and there's a dragon fight.
Who dares to enter my lair and wake me from my slumber? Aha! Prepare yourself, little man. I shall roast the flesh from your bones. Oh, let me see. Well, in that case, I will pluck out both your eyes. Oh, great. I'm just going to give you a good hiding.
Dragon's actually pretty easy. All you have to do is just smash your hammer or club in the area where he'll most likely be and just bash a boulder on his head.
Enough! I yield! I really hurt. What did you have to go and do that for? Here, take this dragon potion and leave me alone. Drink it when you need it. It gives you armor that is impervious to heat. Plus it lets you breathe fire. Now go away.
Get the dragon potion, which you need for the next level. That's why we collected the dragon gems earlier. Gallows Gauntlet is the game's most brutal level, but it's also the shortest. You need the dragon armor to get through the spire gate. Avoid the center of the room that comes after. If you don't, you'll unleash a dragon that's more than likely going to give you a game over if you aren't prepared for it. Fortunately I was. I don't trigger him at all in this playthrough. Otherwise, there's nothing much to talk about here really. It's an alright level for the most part, even if the enemies do brutal amounts of damage to you. The Haunted Ruins is one of those levels that feels more or less like filler even if it is story important. Here's how the level starts. You see these farmers begging for help. Then you have to feed chickens to blow over the drawbridge. Then you need to kill this flying shadow demon, and then the shadow demons on the ground with magic longbows and maybe a sword to prevent the farmers from dying. Save the farmers though, and you get gold. The main goal of this level though is to summon King Peregrine. So go to the bottom of the castle, grab his crown, summon him, and say hi to an old friend.
Sir Fortescue, noblest of my courtiers, bravest of my captains. Oh, that we should meet at such a dark hour, with the fate of this realm lying once again in your hands. Good God, Fortescue, what's happened to your jaw? Bad luck, old man. Now look, Zarok's army of shadow demons hide beneath us within this very mountain. They prepare as we speak to invade fair Gallowmere. If we are to thwart his plans, we must bring down the castle on top of them. We must unleash the lava behind the floodgates.
Okay, dude, but listen here. Unleashing the lava behind the floodgates is a terrible, terrible idea unless you have an exit valve for me, because I didn't see an exit valve earlier.
I can take you to the gate's control lever, but you alone can pull it.
Yeah, see, exactly. Dan's got the right idea here.
Of course, it's a highly dangerous mission, even for a dead man. I dare say that when that fiend sees what you've done, he'll make sure you spend eternity in the most unspeakable torment. But then, I know these things mean nothing to a man of your iron will. Eh, Fortescue? Splendid. Good luck, old friend.
King Peregrine then teleports you to an arena with 2 stone golems, and it's honestly very easy. The hard part's getting the chalice as you escape, but with the 2-minute timer, it's actually very, very easy. Too bad you have to fight the camera a couple times. Anyway, now for the best part of this level. You get a sweet FMV that was once a level in the game, and it leads to obviously one of the best intros to any level in the game. I'm not even sure that's the same bird.
Captain, I thought you ought to know we have a stowaway on board. I've told the men to scour the decks for him. Good! I want that scurvy dog dangling from yon yardarm by his bowels! Is that really necessary? Couldn't we just give him a good tongue lashing and drop him off at the next port? Look! There's not a man-jack on this ship who wouldn't keel-haul his own grandmother for the silver in her hair! There'll be no tongue-lashing! Bring the landlubber to me and I'll tear him a new orifice!
Gar, I'm in a lot of trouble now. Hey, I'll give you $100 to take the blame.
The ghost ship is where game overs occur. It's easily the hardest level. Both officers and pirates proper can deal massive damage to you without much effort on their part. There's this part right here where you have to bounce on the netting, jumping on these rotating platforms, in a platforming game that was inspired by Ghosts and Goblins. Dan's lack of aerial movement is a very big concern, which is why, to compensate, you have these lower areas of the ship you have to go through in order to get back up top. Don't think the top parts are just as easy. Oh no, you can just as easily die. You need to be very careful with how you jump in this level. The boss fight against the ship's captain isn't even that complicated. All you really have to do is light these cannons to damage him. He also summons a swath of pirates to get in your way of this goal. Kind of fitting that he's one of the harder bosses in the game, honestly. The entryway is Sweet Imp Revenge. Sweet Revenge. twice as long a complicated level. It's all basically setting this clock to whatever these things tell you to set it to. It's not a very complicated level. You also have to align a train too, I guess. Kinda weird that the penultimate level is actually one of the easier ones, if I'm being honest. I was hoping it'd be impossible. Finally, Zarek's lair, where he first summons an army of goons, but fortunately Dan has his army as well, with the Chalice.
Sir Fortescue, my old nemesis, so we meet again. I see that a century spent as worm food has done nothing to diminish your naive obsession with the freedom of Gallowmere. Prepare to attack, my warriors. I want the dogs gnawing marrow from those bones within the hour. Ah! What is that, Fortescue? Your lucky cup?
Maximum effort.
For the honor of Gallowmere!
To use this good lightning you find to keep your army alive. This means you're giving health to your army. They go down faster than you think, so you have to constantly keep moving and sacrificing health to keep them alive. With that done, you fight Lord Kardok.
You always were fortunate in battle, Fortescue. Let us see how you fare against my champion, the late Lord Kardok. He eats people like you as calcium supplement.
He goes down like a heap. No joke, the magic sword completely annihilates him.
Bugger. Right then, that's it. I've just about had enough of your meddling. Where is that spell? Ah, yes. No, not that spell. Oh. Oh, not right now. Aha! Now I have it. None shall defeat the mighty Zarok. So prepare to die, Fortescue.
That sound totally originated from this game, by the way. Zarok, like most bosses in this game, is easy even if he is the hardest. Just run away from him, keep your distance, and attack when he stands up like this. Light him up like a tree with your magic sword, magic arrows, whatever you like. He goes down fairly quick. Be careful of this attack. Like all other attacks, just run away from him until it stops. Get hit by it and you may end up losing 2 life bottles at once.
Curse you, Sir Knight. I am finally defeated. Yet if I am to fail, then all shall perish. You are doomed, Fortescue. You will never leave this domain.
Good shit. Dan lives up to the legend, breaks Zarek's spell, and now gets eternal rest. And since I have all the chalices, I get the game's best ending, which is living forever in the Hall of Heroes. Good shit, Dan. You actually showed them what for. That's it. Medieval is considered a cult classic, but I think it's way, way better than that. I do. Without a doubt, it's one of the best games on the PS1. Seeing it get a remake and both games get released on PlayStation Network, I wouldn't be shocked if Sony at least tried again with Medieval. A Medieval 2 remake first before we move on to Medieval 3, and hopefully we won't have Kia be an evil priestess in that game with a revived Zarek. The fuck was that? Do I have a ghost in my office?